Hey everyone, and welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. My name is Safia, and today I'm sharing a card that I made using Spellbinders, Paperwhites, and glass vase, and also the black Alder dies. I'm going to use both of these sets to create a little pot of flowers on my card, and it says right on the back of those dies how many times you're supposed to cut them for the vase and all that. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is create my background for the card. And for that, I'm using Lawn Fawn's Woodgrain background hot foil plate. And I'm just going to go ahead and foil this on some navy cardstock here. So just getting my foil plate and getting it ready on that hot foil machine. You push the timer button and then lay your foil on top of the foil plate with the shiny side down. And then you put your cardstock on top once that timer thing goes solid. And then you arrange your layers and you basically unplug it and just run it through your die cutting machine. So I skipped over that part, but I'm back now. And you basically just take this off. Like this one was really easy to come off. Sometimes the foil's still stuck on there, but isn't that pretty? So that's going to be my background for my card today. And I'm just going to go ahead and set that off to the side. So now I'm going to cut all of my dies out and with the vase. For my vase, I used vellum, and for everything else, I used white. But I had some of this watercolor patterned paper, and I decided to use that for some of the leaves and some of the greenery there, just so I don't have to add color or texture. It was already kind of done for me, which was nice. So I've got 3 flowers there and 2 bulbs and then some greenery. So I'm just pulling out some colors to color in those bulbs. And for that, I'm using my E59, and I'm going to start with that for the darkest color. And then blend out with E57 and then E55 for my lighter color. And then for the bottom, I'm using E53, and I'm kind of pulling that up from the center there as well. And then I also bought in YR 21, I believe. I will list all the colors down below. And then YG00, just to bring in some of that green color. So for the green parts, I'm using YG00 and YG01. This is the stem that's going to sit on top of those bulbs. So I really wanted it to blend into a green color, because if you look at those flowers, they blend into a white almost. So now for the paper whites themselves, I'm taking all of the little leaves and I'm using this round tool to kind of push into the center to give them some dimension. And then for the centers, these are going to be like little buttercups. I'm just throwing a little bit of that YG00 color. And then there's like the very middle of the flower. And for that, I'm using YG 01 just to give it a nice greeny yellow color. And those are going to also fold into the center. So to give these flowers some texture, I'm using my pokey tool here to kind of go from in to out and kind of just bend them in different directions, making sure that those petals are still coming up and not down. Doing this, I found, really gave it dimension and made it look a lot more realistic than it was if it was just flat. So these are meant to be folded and bended and give it that realistic look. I mean, I'm sure you could use them just flat as well, but if you want them to look kind of 3D and pop off the card, this is what you would do. So you saw me take that buttercup and then just kind of go out to in and turn it into a circle, and then I just glued it. And I'm doing the same with this very tiny piece, except for I used my tweezer in the middle and I just wrapped it around my tweezer and then glued it together. And then that little piece is going to sit in the center of that little buttercup flower. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start assembling these flowers, and for that I'm just using my glue, putting tiny dots of glue in 3 of those petals, and then layering them on top of each other. I didn't really try to make it look perfect because flowers never really looked perfect, so I just kind of threw them on top, and that's how I decided they were going to look. And then taking that little buttercup piece and then the very tiny piece in the center and putting that in. And doesn't that just look really pretty? So I went and assembled all of the rest of them, and then here's a closer look at them. I thought they looked really pretty with those lines kind of going down the middle of each petal. So now I'm taking my my B00, and I'm just putting coloring on over top of that vellum. I'm trying to make it look like it's water. So anywhere where there was like a little bit of shading, I added that blue color, and then I put like a little bit of water almost at the bottom. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my greeting, and for that I'm using one of my other Spellbinders stamp sets, and it just says "You are the best." I thought that that would be great. Just have a little scrap piece of paper there, and then I'm not doing anything really fancy for my greeting. I'm just going to cut it out straight, make sure all of those lines are straight around that greeting as I'm cutting it. Sometimes this can be tricky, so if you can't do this, just use your paper trimmer and it'll be straight. I have a thing about trying to make the greeting look as straight as possible. So now we're just going to start to put the whole card together. This is my card base, just regular white, 5.5 by 4.25. And then I'm going to put my foiled background right on top of there. And then I went ahead and cut out a little hillside border with this white paper. I thought it'd just be cool to put the vase on top of there. And so yeah, I just cut that out, and then I'm gluing that right on top just to have a base for that vase, and then just trimming off the edges. I made it bigger. I always make it bigger because when you make it exact size, you never know if it's actually going to fit because your card might be smaller or bigger. So that's going to be the bottom of the card, and then the best way I figured to do this part, everything has to be layered under that vase. So I took the vase and I took a pencil and I kind of just drew pencil marks around where I wanted the vase to be sitting. And then I layered everything in between those lines, so I know exactly where that vase is going to be on top. I only put 2 of these bulbs. Later when I thought about it, I feel like it would have been nicer with 3. But if you only want to do 1 or 2, that's fine as well. So now we're just going to layer everything on top of this, on top of these bulbs. And so just be sure that when you're doing this part, you're going to, what I ended up doing is sticking the vase down first and then leaving the opening open on the top there, so I can just put glue on the bottoms of my pieces and then stick them through into the little hole on top, layering them right on top of those bulbs. With this one, I made a little mistake and I thought I got it in, but it was actually on top. So after I saw that, I had to pull it out and then stick it back in. The nice thing about it is that if you just have a little baby wipe and you get glue everywhere, you can quickly wipe it up without ruining any part of your card. I do that all the time. Anyway, so now I'm just taking all of the green pieces and kind of arranging them inside that vase the way I want them to sit. And those big green leaves from the black alder dies, later, after I stuck them into the card, I did use that pokey tool and kind of lift those leaves up because they were laying a little bit flat. I didn't do that part on video though. So if you see the picture of the card, you'll see that those leaves are kind of lifted up. So yeah, now I'm just putting in all the rest of my greenery into that vase, and then basically getting it ready to layer the paper whites on top of that area there. So just cleaning up any glue that I have left, and I'm not gluing the tops of those leaves. I'm just doing the bottoms and then sticking them in. So it kind of looks like they're all sticking up above the card. So the next thing I'm going to do here is grab those whites, and I kind of arrange them the way I wanted to. And then now I'm just going to glue them down. I found that was the best way to do it because every time I would arrange them, I didn't like how they looked. So this was the best way. And again, I'm just gluing the very bottom of those flowers to the card. Hold it down for a second just so you know it's secured into place before gluing the second one on. And then once those paper whites were on, I'm going to use, I cut out the little berries from the set, but I didn't like them. So I'm just using this red enamel dot paste. And I just used those for berries instead. And then that gave me more control of where I wanted to put them. So I put 3 up in the corner, 2 to the right side, and then 1 just kind of on the other side. And it gave it that pop of red without actually having to cut those little berries out. So now I'm just putting some twine. I just put a little piece of that crafter's tape, and then I arranged my twine how I wanted. And now I'm just gluing or putting my greeting on top with some foam pieces. And that is my card for you guys today. I couldn't end it without putting some little embellishments on there. So I'm just using clear rhinestones to kind of put on there to bring out that white color of the flowers and the card. And I decided to go with 5 of them. Anyway, so that's my card for you today, guys. I hope you like it. Be sure to check out the other designers on our channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel to see further inspiration. Thanks for watching today, friends. Have a good day. Bye.